Good evening. It's Sunday, and this is Dade's 8th week on testosterone. And I'm Dade's wife, Tiffany, and again, I'm just kind of talking about it from my perspective. And I had a really great thing happen this week that I thought really kind of encapsulates what I'm representing, which is that the transition is more than just about the person transitioning, that it is indeed has ripple effects on a lot of different people, coworkers, family, neighbors, extended family. And so my best friend lives in North Carolina, and she has a 7-year-old son. And so she sent a Facebook email to me this week of just, he overheard the conversation. She was talking to her husband, and, he started asking questions like, what do you mean? And what is that? And in this, little great house in conservative southern North Carolina, she's explaining transgender and explained it in this language that was just beautiful. And her son had questions like, well, what does that mean, and how does that happen? And his insight was so beautiful, and I wish I actually would have printed it out so I could just read it to you. But and my best friend highlighted this too, that really how stereotypes and fear are learned. That he just didn't have any of that. He was like, well, is Dade happy and healthy? And she said, yeah. And he's like, well, good. I'm real glad they have that kind of medicine. And is Aunt Tiffany happy? And she said, yeah, she is. And it just this statement that he made was, gosh, Aunt Tiffany sure has had a lot of variety in her life. That must be a lot of fun. And I thought, God, that's awesome. I think I get so lost sometimes in all of this happened and that happened, and I was making decisions, and then life happened anyway. And if I get caught up in being a victim of that, and just that beautiful reminder from a 7-year-old that, it's pretty fun. I can't say my life is boring at all. And of course it had questions for him of, well, can that happen to me? And anyway, it was just great. And I also thought it was a wonderful example of how, as a person transitions, that really, there's an echo, it goes out and it goes out and it goes out, and people have to play with that and tweak that and figure out, like, how do I, where does that fit in my head and heart, and does it fit in my head and heart, and what's my relationship like with this person, and how do I explain it to the neighbors and the children? And anyway, I just wanted to say thank you to my best friend, and B, just share that as just a really, I think, beautiful moment. Second, I wanted to talk about, I guess, just sharing that I feel like, although, Dade's transition takes up a lot of our headspace and conversations over the last probably 6 months, because it's so huge, like anything this huge would. It just dominates the situation. I feel like that's receding a little bit, and there are still major decisions to make, and things on the horizon, and exciting things happening, and fears that we still have, or unknowns. But it's taking up less of the discussion space, where we're talking about, what kind of chickens we want to get in the springtime, and future vacations, and just other things. And it's kind of nice, and I want to share that to all the partners and families that I think, life is beginning to normalize a little bit, especially as we've shared with our friends and family and have had such a loving response. It's kind of beginning to mellow out a little bit, which is really a welcomed change. Third, I wanted to share for me some of the things I feel like I'm dealing with right now is, there was a lot of the what ifs, and that stage kind of we've gotten through that, and now it's when our change is going to start happening. And I think allowing a space for Dade, because I think there was a huge level of excitement of like, I'm starting testosterone, this is going to change and everything's going to change, and we're telling people and all these things are going to happen, and now we're like, and when is that going to happen? And I think it's definitely much more frustrating for Dade, and trying, so allowing for that, the ups and downs of that, that there's a bit of depression that sets in sometimes of it's not happening fast enough. YouTube's been such a powerful resource for Dade in terms of looking and saying, well, usually it's at about the 3-month mark, it seems to be, where voices are changing. And, the fat distribution, maybe it's more at like 1.5 years, and it's not all going to happen by next Tuesday or next Wednesday when it's, the 9th week, which we want it to. I want it to. I'm ready for that too. But anyway, I guess I'm just saying, I feel like that's been kind of the role lately, is just understanding, like, yeah, that's got to be really, really frustrating. It's like you've opened up the curtain to the show and you're just waiting, for the lights to come on. And that makes a lot of sense that there's frustration there, and just allowing for that and not getting hung up on it, and just like saying the things I'm noticing and reminding about the things we've watched and the timelines that it takes. And even with a, normal pubescent period, that it takes a while. It's not like you just wake up one morning and you have a, full bush of pubic hair, or it takes a long time and years. It's several years. And so just kind of gently reminding, but also just listening and acknowledging, yeah, that's got to be really, really frustrating. And I think that's all I have this week. It's been really mellow, actually. It's things are really busy with Dade at work, and things are really busy with me at work, and I'm also in school, and it's winter, so it's, it's always dark and cloudy and rainy, and so it's just kind of feels like we're just snuggling in and waiting for spring, in metaphorically as well, I suppose. Okay, well, enjoy your week and take care.